Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Shout out to Philly, much love to Philly. And speaking of Philly, let's talk about one of Philly's very own, Gabriel Rosado, because my main man Rosado, my fellow Boricua, Gabriel Rosado, he decided to call out Jarrett Hurd following his win over Arizona Lara, being pretty simple with it, saying, look, man, I'll knock you out. Straight up, I'll knock you out. And it's a big claim, man. That's a big claim. Jarrett Hurd, Gabe Rosado, good fight. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight because my thing is this. Charlo is not going to fight, or Hurd is not going to fight Charlo next. That's the fight that people really want to see, right? In the meantime, I would like to see Rosado fight Jarrett Hurd. I wouldn't mind it. Gabe Rosado is definitely someone that he's always made for entertaining fights. He's always been someone that you watch him fight, and it's never a dull moment. So I'm not against it at all. I would not be against a fight like that because of the simple fact that Gabe Rosado, he comes to fight, and I'm not mistaken, his last fight he fought Glenn Tapia. I watched it, and he stopped Glenn Tapia. And that was the ultimate crossroads fight because both those guys were coming off a string of losses. It was one of those fights that both of them needed for their careers. Rosado was coming off of a loss to Willie Monroe. He was coming off of a close fight to Martin Murray, which I know a lot, some people thought he won that fight against Martin Murray. So it is what it is, man. I like to see it. For the simple fact that, I want to see if Rosado, like the thing is this. Rosado, in comparison to a lot of guys at 154, a lot of guys at 154 are 154 pounders. But Rosado is a big 154 pounder. He's someone who could fight at 160 easily. And he gets down to 154. So I think size-wise, it will be interesting to see what Hurd could do with someone who is his own size, someone who comes to fight like Rosado. Obviously, we're going to favor Hurd because let's be real here. And I like Rosado. I really like Rosado. And I would like to see him. I'm one of those guys. I would love to see Rosado somehow pull a rabbit out the hat, pull something out of his ass, and get a world title. But let's be real. Every big fight Rosado's ever been involved in, for the most part, he's lost. He lost to Martin Murray. He lost to Willie Monroe. He lost to David Lemieux. He lost to Jermell Charlo. He lost to Peter Quillen. He lost to Gennady Golovkin. Best win on his resume, really, you'd have to go all the way to freaking, Jesus Soto Karass. I thought he beat Jalen Love. Maybe his last fight against Glenn Tapia. Maybe when he fought, he fought one dude in BKB a couple years ago when they had the BKB series. So my thing is, Rosado, it's kind of frustrating because I think, Rosado is a good example of, what happens when your career's not managed properly and you're just thrown into big fight after big fight after big fight. That's his career, all right? He's a warrior. We give respect to him. He's a true Philly fighter in every sense of the word. But his career's been very mishandled. And if he was guided properly, he might be one of the stars. He has everything really to be the star, a star, like a superstar in boxing. He has, the quote unquote look. He has the height, the charisma. He's one of them guys. When he talks, he can kind of draw you in. You want to listen to what Gabe Rosado has to say. He has all the ingredients to be a big star, but he's never been able to rise to the occasion to validate all those tools he has in the ring. And that's frustrating to me as someone who likes him, as someone who's a fan of his. And I think he's good for boxing. I think he's always been good for boxing. And honestly, I don't think he can get past a guy like Jarrett Hurd. Ultimately, if he fights with Jarrett Hurd, he's going to be holding a big fat L. And I hate to say that, but I think Rosado will hold a big fat L if he fights Jarrett Hurd. Just because of the fact that I think he's been in too many wars. Hurd is a strong, young, physical, 154-pound fighter. Rosado is now getting up there in age. He's 32 years old, but his body is probably older than that from all the wars he's been in. So it's got brutal knockout written all over it for Rosado. But if he wants to take the fight, if he's willing to take the fight, and Hurd can't find a better opponent, then I wouldn't mind it. So yeah, Rosado called out Jarrett Hurd respectfully. He said, that kid is good, but I'll knock him out. I ain't mad at it. Now, side note, I wasn't making a separate video to this, but I'd rather just add it into this one since we're already talking to about Gabe Rosado. It was pretty hilarious. They were asking him his opinions on the fight, and Arizmendi Lara's wife, was very livid, pissed off at Gabe Rosado because apparently he made some comments about Lara being a boring fighter, and she asked him in Spanish. She said, you know, if Lara is a boring fighter, if my man Lara is a boring fighter, then why are you here? And then Gabe Rosado said back in Spanish, and he basically said like, hey, like it's the fight game, it's the business. We talk a lot of trash. You know, I thought he fought well. I thought he gave a lot of heart. I thought he even won the fight. And then like all of Lara's wife and her friends, they all started yelling at him. So Gabe Rosado was wise. All right, you can't win a fight with one woman. So what the hell makes you think you're gonna win a fight with 8 women? So he pretty much just was very diplomatic in his response, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. So big shout out to my man Gabe Rosado for handling that whole situation with grace and class. And shout out to Arizmendi Lara and his wife and for him having a good performance. But as far as Hurd Rosado, it's just not a fight. I really don't see how he can win it unless they sprinkle some fairy dust on his boxing skills and he just got magically improved in every single facet of his boxing skill set. I don't really see how it's gonna happen. I just think Hurd too young, too strong, too physical for him. I think he'll give Hurd some good rounds, but I just don't see him winning that fight. But I ain't against it, man. I think it'd be a good fight. Jarrett Hurd is a unified champion now, so if they want to have that fight somewhere like in Maryland, where he's from, on like a kind of like an ESPN card or a Showtime card, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be a good way because Maryland and Philadelphia ain't that far from each other, so you can get a lot of Philly fight fans. Maybe you can have it in Philly. We don't know. I ain't against it. So yeah, that's the news. Gabe Rosado calls out Jarrett Hurd fresh off his win. What do you guys, my loyal subscribers out there, think? Like, do you guys think that Gabe Rosado has any chance against Jarrett Hurd? And would you like to see this fight? Let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.